Hello everybody, it is Ben back again, and oh my, it has been a busy few days. But let's get started with July 1st, the opening of Free Agent Frenzy. Habs get one of the big targets of the day, which this speaks to how weak of a free agent class it was that he was the big target. Habs take Karl Alzner for $4.625 a year for 5 years. And now I'm just going to go through all of the other players first before we kind of get into the players. The other deals on that day were Matt Taormina, possibly that's how you say it. 30-year-old defenseman that was with Tampa, signed 2 years, $650,000 average per year. Defenseman Joe Morrow, 24 years old, signed to a 1 year, $650,000 deal, was with Boston. 26-year-old Peter Holland, centerman, 2 years, $675,000 a year from Arizona. And then finally, Byron Frais from the Leafs, 26-year-old centerman, 2 years, $650,000 each year. And that was everything that happened on July 1st. Then on July 2nd, Bergevin drops the bomb that was Carey Price's extension, another 8 years at $10.5 million a year. It's a big thing to talk about. We'll get to that. That was all that happened on the 2nd. And then we move on to July 3rd, yesterday. Well, when I'm making this, it was yesterday because today's the 4th. But this will probably get uploaded by the 5th. Who knows? But July 3rd, the Habs sign Ales Hemsky from the Dallas Stars to a 1 year, $1 million deal. And on that same day, Alexander Radulov walks to Dallas for a $6.25 million a year deal for 5 years. Let's start from the beginning, July 1st, and Karl Alzner. The way I look at him is he is a slightly more expensive, slightly better Alexei Emelin. Woo, yay, great. Got another one of them just as we had just gotten out of that. We got another. Thing with Alzner, everybody thinks he's going to be a top 4 defenseman because maybe he might have been that in the past with the Capitals. But if you ask any Capitals fan online, they will say he's starting to decline in his last little bit with the Capitals. He's dipped pretty dramatically, actually. His goals, assists, and shot suppression numbers all are around the same as the third pairing D average around the league. These hero charts are coming from ownthepuck.blogspot.ca, by the way. I'll be using a lot of them in this video. And his shot generation numbers are like noticeably lower. Like, wow, lower. He's 28, so the age thing isn't going to be a problem with the contract. 5 years later, he'll be 33. That's not an issue. The problem is, a guy like David Schlemko, his shot generation and shot suppression numbers are far better than Alzner's, and for less than half the price. And in a league that's moving more towards puck-moving, fast-moving game, offensive kind of game, Schlemko, you want more Schlemkos, not more Alzners. And I still can't believe they gave him 5 years. And if you're looking at this as a replacement for Andrei Markov, just no, like, look at this. No. Anyway, moving on to what I would call the AHL signings of the day on the 1st, because I don't really see any of these guys being big pieces that you're adding to move up to the team. We have defenseman Joe Morrow, defenseman Matt Taormina, maybe that's how you say it, centerman Byron Frais, and centerman Peter Holland. 2 defensemen, 2 centers. The only one that I see that could possibly have an effect at the NHL level would maybe be Holland, because last year had 11 points in 40 games with a bad Arizona Coyotes team. So who knows, if you have injuries, he's a good depth player to have. He'll probably do great in Laval. And maybe he gets some injuries and needs more center help. He could probably be a serviceable 4th line center. You compare his most of his advanced statistics to the 4th line average, it looks okay. But he's really the only one of those 4 that I see having an effect at the NHL level. You might say, oh, I've seen the name Joe Morrow a lot when he was with Boston, but it's because Boston has Zdeno Chara and Torrey Krug, and that's basically it when it comes to defensemen that they have. They've been using a lot of defensemen like they probably shouldn't have been. Moving on to July 2nd. Now we've got all the July 1st stuff out of the way. That was the day that Bergevin dropped the bomb. That was the extension of Carey Price to 8 more years after this next season. $10.5 million is a lot of money for one player each year, but the Habs have consistently asked Carey Price to basically be, well, $10 million is almost a seventh of the salary cap. I think they've asked him to be more than a seventh of the team most years. So I think he easily could have gotten more on the open market, like easily gotten more than $10.5 million. But hey, he wanted to stay in Montreal for whatever reason. And we have him for 8 more years. Towards the end of that deal, it's not going to look great. He's not going to be the Carey Price that he is now, but you're getting the Carey Price that he is now for 5 or 6 years before he starts to kind of teeter off. The interesting thing is, after this year, how do you build around that? That'll be the challenge. But anyway, got Carey locked down for 8 more years. I can't really complain about that. Then on the 3rd, Alexander Radulov walks to Dallas, takes the money there, and what can I say other than it was fun while it lasted? It was a whole lot of fun while it lasted. Radulov, you were a lot of fun to watch this year with the Habs. Shootout specialist getting a goal basically every time you throw him out in the shootout. Just some absolutely nasty goals. Great highlights this year. And some nice chemistry you had with Galchenyuk. You were a lot of fun to watch. I'm sad it couldn't have lasted longer. I'm sure you're going to be amazing in Dallas with the line mates you're probably going to have. I'm just imagining a Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Alexander Radulov line, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm glad that team is not in the same conference as the Habs. Thanks for the memories. You scored that OT winning goal at the Game 2 this past year in the series against the Rangers that I was at. One of the most memorable goals I've been witness to in person, so I'll always have that memory for you. Good luck in Dallas. But it does kind of seem that Bergevin's priorities are kind of in a weird place when, you'll spend the sun and the moon for Carl Alsner, but you won't give just a little bit more to Radu to keep him here. But anyway, I move on. Also on the 3rd was the signing of Ales Hemsky, which some people are looking at, what is this? This is not a replacement Radulov. No, but I think Drouin was his replacement of Radulov. Not that it's the same thing at all because he had to give up Sergachev to get Drouin, but looking at that you think, if we have Drouin now, he's 22 and you can let Radulov go. It doesn't make all the sense, but it makes some amount of sense if you're trying to argue it from Bergevin's perspective. But Ales Hemsky only suited up for 15 games last year with Dallas because due to injury, so that's not great. He just coming off an injury. But hopefully, if you can stay healthy, last year, 15 games, he had 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. That's not bad. That's scoring. That's more than 0.5, more than a half a point per game pace. But that's not really a big enough sample size. But if you look back to his seasons prior, in 2014-15, 11 goals, 21 assists for 32 points in 76 games. And then in 15-16, he had 13 goals, 26 assists for 39 points in 75 games. So the consistency is there. And for 1 year, $1 million, that's not a whole lot of risk. So if he is fully healed from whatever the injury was, I'm not sure what it was. I actually haven't. I don't remember that off the top of my head. But if he's healed and he can contribute as he has in the past, that's a pretty good bet. It's not going to be a Radulov level success, I don't think, but he could help and he could contribute to the team. The big question marks still are neither Markov or Galchenyuk are signed. Granted, by the time I get this edited and uploaded, they'll probably get signed like 10 minutes later because that's probably how it's going to work. But at this point, they're not signed. Reports are coming out that there is cap space allotted in Bergevin's mind for specifically for Galchenyuk, but whether or not they're still doing negotiations and if he's going to want more in that deal, I don't know. But my gut is feeling like Galchenyuk is going to stay. At this point, I think it's a miracle if Markov does, just because the way things have gone down, it seems like there's been some damage done in the negotiations there, that if he comes back, if he does come back, he's going to come back pissed. I hope he does, because seeing Markov in any jersey other than a Canadiens jersey is going to look just strange. It'll look so weird. He should retire a Hab, and it'll be just wrong if he doesn't. But also in that vein, he had 6 goals and 30 assists in 62 games last year, and basically drove the Canadiens' offense as a puck-moving defenseman. Even at 38, he can still play. he can still play at this level. And if you don't sign him back, where do you expect that driving that, like all that offense, driving the offensive play, where do you expect that to come from? Because it's not going to come from Alsner. I don't, the Habs have painted themselves into a spot where they kind of have to sign Markov again, or they're going to have one rough defensive core. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see over the next couple days. I was going to try to wait until all the balls kind of dropped and we saw where things landed and where everybody was, but the Galchenyuk and Markov signs are just taking too long. I want to get this video up, so I guess we'll wait and see in the next few days, or maybe by like an hour after I upload this, they'll both be signed. Who knows? But anyway, see you guys next time.